Hello and good evening. You are welcome to the HR Certification Center LinkedIn page. I'm excited to have you all here. Just to know who is joining us online, please send me a hello in the comment section. Let me know who is listening to us from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So we are streaming live on these three platforms. So let me know those who are connecting with us from all these three platforms. You can just drop a comment in the comment section and I will see. You can just say hello. Okay, I can see hello from Accra. Pearl is online. Hello from Accra from LinkedIn. How many people are joining us from other platforms? Okay. So anyone who is listening to us, just send a hello in the comment section and let's connect. Okay. All right. Let's give some 3 to 5 minutes so that we can get some more people joining in and then we'll set off. Great. We are back. Thank you very much. Okay, so I can see some responses in the comment section. I can see hello from Cypran, from Anita on LinkedIn, from Pearl on Facebook. I can see hello from Adjoa Echampo on LinkedIn. I can see Roxanne said network is not helping. Sorry about that, Roxanne. Kindly try to log in again and see how it's going. We really want you to be on this show with us. I can see Sheila from LinkedIn saying hello. Okay, so thank you all for joining. And my name is Kwabena Nyameche Dapa. And right, so as I was saying, my name is Kwabena Nyameche Dapa, and I'm the moderator for today's event. We'll be throwing some spotlights on the global HR professional certifications and what HRs need to do in order to stay ahead in their practice. Today, I'll be here with the country director of the global HR certifications, Dr. Jeff Bassey, and we'll be having a very interesting discussion on HR, on very, very topical issues when it comes to HR. So please do well to invite your friends. You can send an invitation to your friends right now. You can post on your timeline. If you're on Facebook, you can post on your timeline. If you are on LinkedIn, you can also post it on your WhatsApp platforms to invite your friends. Just yesterday, I was listening to a talk on YouTube, and the speaker said something interesting. He said that if you work, if you invest in your work, you would make a living. But if you invest in yourself, you will create wealth. So this program has been put together for you to invest in yourself so that HR professionals will not just be living, but they'll create wealth for themselves. Great. I just want to know who is online with me now. You can send me a hello in the comment section. Let me acknowledge you, and then we'll set off into today's business. Let me see those joining from Facebook, joining from LinkedIn, joining from YouTube. We are live on all these three platforms. Just send me a hello and let me know you are connecting with us. Okay, great. Let's continue. Now, the HR Certification Center is a leadership and HR development center. We have been in operation for the past 12 years, and we are affecting the growth of HR in Ghana and the African sub-region. And we have a lot of programs and courses put together to assist HR professionals become relevant. Today, we are talking on the global HR's professional certifications and the role of HR in today's business. To help me in this is none other than um, a man who has consulted and trained for over 144 organizations, including Bank of Ghana, MTN, Coca-Cola, Newmont Ghana, Newmont Gold Mines, Ghana, and he's also a leadership and HR. He's also a leadership, HR strategist, and a labor expert. He has served as a labor consultant for Talo Oil, and he's the founder of the HR Certification Center in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'll be speaking to none other than Dr. Jeff Bassey. Dr. Bassey, you are welcome to today's space.
Thank you, and a very good afternoon, very good evening to our August listeners. Maybe good morning, depending on which country you are joining us from. We appreciate the time taken to be a part of this program and looking forward to have a great interaction with us.
Great, great. Thank you very much, Dr. Bassey, for making time. Dr. Bassey, how has your day been today? Today is a Saturday. What have you been up to?
Right. Here at the Professional HR Certification Center, we, run our tuition, uh, physical or in-person options run on, um, Saturdays, and then the online runs on Sundays. So today being a Saturday, we have been, in class. I particularly taught the senior professional charter class today, whilst I have other colleagues who were teaching the junior classes. So it has all been lectures, whole day up to this moment.
Great, great. That's interesting. Your Saturdays seem to be very busy. Dr. Basse, the HR Certification Center has been involved in the growth of HR. But this evening, I just want to find out, how has HR, evolved? Before it used to be personnel management, and how did it evolve to what we have come to know today as strategic human resource management?
Very well, as you rightfully put it. Um, HR in the early 80s used to be personnel management, fundamentally because the profession of human resources concerned itself with administrative support at the time. And by administrative support, I mean we only looked at keeping records on employees and managing employee files, um, coordinate things like, leave, be it maternity leave or annual leave. And we're also involving a few social assistants to our workers, like when we had to help an employee in the funeral arrangements of relatives that are passed. Those were the basic things HR concerned itself with, dividing people's annual salary by 12 and paying one every month. But over time, as we all are aware, HR had gone through a lot of transformation. And today, HR had become a key strategic partner in organizations because of a few things I'll be outlining. The profession itself has become very heavily legally regulated. You do not do HR at the whims and caprices of the manager or the employer. Instead, today, it is heavily regulated. Even before the passing of the Labor Act 651 2003, we were under the Industrial Relations Act 299. That somewhat regulated labor with a lot of emphasis on unions management and what have you. But as we all are aware, on the 10th of October, 8th of October, I must say, 2003, the president at the time, His Excellency J. Kufuor, gave a presidential assent to the Labor Act 2003 after going through all the works he had to go through, went through Parliament, got passed the 21-day public comment period, and eventually the law got a presidential assent and had since become the major regulatory document between the employer and the employee. So one leg of the conversation today is the
Mhm.
fact that HR have become heavily legally regulated. We at the HR Certification Center have been very fortunate to have consulted for quite a number of organizations in this country. We have helped in structuring human resource unit for various organizations. And we have also met a lot of how managers apparently are unable to navigate the technical issues and have driven their organizations into avoidable liabilities and what have you. It is either the company contracts itself out of legislation through policies. Now, when policies are
Mhm.
not analogous with state regulations, then it becomes a lot of challenge. So that is one. The other one have to do with the fact that HR today happens from outside in. What are the operating departments saying? What is even the customers saying? When the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, then the end is in sight. HR does not exist for itself. So when we are able to align people's strategy to the strategic direction of the organization or the strategic plan of the company, then we can say that HR is relevant and operating from a strategic viewpoint rather than in those days when we were merely administrative support departments.
That's very interesting, Dr. Bassi. Then it seems to me that HR has now become more complex, and in managing it, the HR practitioner himself should be someone who is very knowledgeable to run this system. And I want to ask, looking at these transitions and how it's moving to a strategic level, the HR practice itself, do you think it's helping in business growth? Do you think it's very relevant in today's kind of business? And how can no, let me ask that one. Is it relevant? The transition, has it put so much pressure on HR? And how can an HR practitioner, manipulate this strategic role in order to make meaning in today's business?
Indeed, it is relevant now than ever. Um, the days where we used to have a constant, as in things hardly change in business. Today, we operate the VUCA world. The VUCA is the acronym that stands for how business environment is volatile, is uncertain, is complex, and ambiguous. Now, the moment you get the people decisions wrong, right from talent acquisition, how the right person comes into the organization. Now, I have published an article that is titled "How a Bad Hiring Decision Can Mess Up a Good Business Strategy." So, from the acquisition of talent to how these talent are developed and, for that matter, deployed. How are we engaging this talent, and how are we optimizing their performance within the organization? So the people bit and all the transformation that we had gone through had become materially important. Now, like you mentioned, I had served as a labor consultant to Tallow Oil. We have to resolve a lot of major issues on upstream, on downstream, to make sure that production continues for the organization. We've handled sessions for Coca-Cola, for Bank of Ghana, for various organizations, and most of these HR professionals actually went through us to become certified. We've certified well over 3,000 persons across the South African, sub-region. And in Ghana here, out of the about 30 banks or so in Ghana, we've covered almost 20 of the banks in Ghana have had their HR leads and other professionals certified through us. So we've led, the transformation agenda, and it has visibly affected the bottom line of many organizations with the introduction of various metrics and measuring tool on the impact of good HR decision on productivity and, for that matter, return on investments.
Great, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've just been engaging on the human resource management as a whole, or human resource management as a vehicle to running business. And I think it's getting very interesting. We are getting to know that human resource management has actually evolved from personnel to to a strategic role. So, Dr. Bassett, before I continue to the next, Henry just sent a message. Say poor network. Henry, is the network better now? Kindly give us feedback if it's working better now. And please, let's do what we also invite our friends. We are going deeper into the issues of human resource management. Invite any HR practitioner who this session is going to benefit them greatly. We have, understood how complex the world of human resource itself is, and even moving on how complex the world of business has become. So, Dr. Bassi, for me, I'm thinking now, yes, this is the vehicle, human resource management, but there are people who man this vehicle. There are people who move it. How can a human resource practitioner be better placed to run HR as a strategic function?
Well, I normally say that HR has no power except that which is given to him by policy. Now, when you, by virtue of how your policies are, drafted, if you contract the organization out of legislation, your contract will be void ab initio. And so HR will require a lot of knowledge from the business perspective, from the people perspective that have its roots in law. So first and foremost, it's about the rigorous training and knowledge HR needs to be able to be better positioned to run the organization. Now, I normally would liken the organization to, or the talent, the good talent that come into the organization to the content, and liken the organization to the context. Liken the talent to the king, and liken the organization to the kingdom. Right. Now, if you have a good talent, but those good talent are not properly aligned and, for that matter, engaged properly, the organization may not get all of the benefits that it will get from the organization. So the first thing to do as a human resource manager, especially in these contemporary times, is to have key knowledge on policy issues, on strategic alignment issues, on talent acquisition, talent development, their optimization, engagement for the organization. Now, depending on the environment you find yourself in terms of industry, whether your industry is capital intensive or labor intensive, affect or have a great deal of effect on your talent retention strategies, whether you can easily lose talent who are privy to trade secrets and privy to confidential issues and privy to strategies that are responsible for the success of the organization. Now, all of these arrangements are coordinated by an HR who must have key knowledge. In very recent time, there are a lot of contemporary, issues that affect the workplace. Issues of outside employment, issues of non-compete agreement, even contractual agreement, how people are contracted into the organization, so much so that at the point of separating the employee through termination, whichever vehicle you choose to use, if your contracting bit is not right, you're going to run into a lot of challenges, a lot of liability issues if you have to manage your terminations. Now, so a lot of contemporary issues are coming up. Every now and then we see cases going to court, going to the National Labor Commission. And some of them, when you look at it, it's purely a question of lack of technical acumen on the part of the HR directorate or the head of HR, driving the organization into those avoidable, liability. So it's important that HR a lot of training, whether it's a professional training or some sort of rigor, so you are abreast with the issues. Even the ones who are supposed to be gurus in the industry and have risen to the height of HR, every now and then, because courts are delivering decisions that are informing how things are done. That's what we call common law court decisions that are informing how things are supposed to be done in the organization by way of how people are supposed to be managed in the company. So knowledge, the rigor of preparation and training to be sure that you are best placed to advise the organization management on key people issues so that you can guarantee uh, productivity. Now, this is what Henry Ford said. Now, this is what Henry Ford said. Henry Ford said, now we all know Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motors. He said, you can burn our factories, confiscate our bank accounts, seize our products, but leave our people, and we build everything right back again in the organization. The people bit is critical in the organization seeing any success.
Sure, Dr. Bassi. That's been great. So, from what you are saying, knowledge is actually the bedrock for in this complex world of business. Now, can you suggest to us some of the tools that an HR can use to acquire this knowledge? I know that the HR Certification Center has been providing the the global professional HR certifications. Can you throw more light on that? How it's well positioned on top of issues?
Well, we have been spearheading a national HR mentorship program for entry level persons, and it is absolutely free of charge. So we attach, junior HRs, and you must be in practice for not more than 3 years. I mean, students, especially students in their final years, fresh graduates, and people who are in other fields and are seeking to transit into HR, or an HR practitioner, but at the very bottom, you just started your HR 1 year, 2 years in HR. This caliber of people are allowed to go through our mentorship, national mentorship program. We do 4 intakes in a year, and on quarterly basis, we are able to take as much as 250 mentees. Now, we have mentors from very key organizations, mentors from Access Bank, from Coca-Cola, from MTN, from Tallow Oil, from Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, from DevTraco, from Absa Bank, from Access Bank, from Minerals Commission, from all manner of companies, Casa Preco and the rest. And these are very senior certified HR professionals who agree to serve as mentors on our platform. The reports is that a lot of these young HRs are now appreciating how to do a proper work of HR. Beyond that, we run a lot of webinars. I mean, free webinars. A few of them are paid programs. Just last night, we finished our labor law masterclass that ran from Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every evening. And myself, I was on the ticket. We had officials from the National Labor Commission, and then we also had an employment lawyer in the name of Wing Commander Samuel Alote. And together, we served as resource person that guided about 100 HR professionals who had gone through the labor law masterclass. Quite apart from that, we also ran our key flagship course, which is the professional charter in human resources. Just as anyone would say he or she is a chartered accountant or chartered banker, we ran the charter in human resources at the HR Certification Center, representing the global body in Ghana, just like ACCA Global for chartered accountants recognized in every country. We serve as the approved providers representing the global charter body in Ghana. We have run 32 cohorts, 32 different batches in a space of 9 years. We have run 30 cohorts, passed out 3,000 professionals. I normally say humorously that if your HR hasn't certified through us, you probably are not working for a good company, because all the key companies out there, MTN, Bank of Ghana, Tallow, all the big companies, both public and private. We've had officials from the Defense Ministry, from GRA, from Ghana Education Service, All these caliber of people had all gone through the program. It's a 6 week, a 6 month program, but you take tuition on weekends only, and you have the liberty to choose between physical tuition and online tuition. If you are taking the physical, it runs on Saturdays only. The online option runs on Sundays only. So you decide which of the two options suits your schedule for the weekend. And the refreshing thing is that our participants or students have the liberty to switch in between the physical and the online. And every weekend you decide which of them suits your schedule. In a matter of 6 months, would have worked on you enough, so much so that you are ready to sit for the Global Professional Charter Certification exam. On your passing, you become a certified professional in human resources if you pass the professional charter exam. I think it's refreshing for me to just also indicate that we have the regular charter and then we also have the senior charter. Depending on your pedigree, your entry qualification, we decide where to place you. But within 6 months, you are done with tuition and then you pick a date to write the exam. Exam is conducted every day, January to December, except Sunday. So Monday through Saturday, January to December, exam is being conducted. Our pass rate is quite high, about 82%. So out of every 100 candidates we register for the Global Charter exam, we get some 80, 82 passes at first sitting, and some 18, 20 who are unable to pass at first sitting and would have to reschedule to take the examination at another time. I'm yet to see anybody sit for the third time. You either pass your first attempt or your second attempt, and then you become a professional charter HR. Then you are qualified to join the professional association, just as all lawyers are part of the Ghana Bar Association, all medical doctors are part of the medical association. It's the same vein. Once you pass, you become a chartered HR. You are formally admitted into the association of chartered or certified HRs, and that puts you many, 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 miles ahead of the non-certified degree holder, because it firmly builds your credentials that position you to deliver on the objectives of the organization.
Dr. Thing to note, I think I must commend and the HR Certification Center for some of the programs that you mentioned, especially the National HR Mentorship Program. This is in there, even train the next generation of HR professionals, and all the other free programs that run on your social media platforms. So for that, you would see on the scroller on your screen now, you can follow HR Certification Center on all the social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. You have all the programs there. And one of the ones you mentioned, I think the HR Roundtable, which normally runs on Twitter, is one interest to provide resources for HR practitioners to even do better. This is good to note. So let me I'm in the comment section. We have Emmanuel from LinkedIn saying, I'm learning new things. Godsway says Dr. Bassey at his best as usual. Shiro says the people bits. Victor says that I have the SPHR, but I want to do GPHR. What are the processes? Okay, so Victor, we'll have a time for questions. So when the time is up, I would bring this to for Dr. Bassey to give his response on it. I want to encourage anyone listening to us now that you can send your questions. When we are done, we'll certainly attend to your questions, and Dr. Bassey is going to give responses to that. And I also want you to share this discussion now on your social media platforms. Then you can share on your timeline for your colleagues to join in and also have enough enlightenment on our program. So, Dr. Bassi, when you are talking about how an HR practitioner can get knowledge and talking about the certification certification courses. I've trained over 3,000 HR practitioners in public, private service, or sectors. What about someone who wants to join right now? Join. What are you done for the year? Can they join? When can they join? When are the entries? How can someone become part of this HR community?
Yeah, thank you. Indeed, we run, we do new intakes once every quarter. I'm sure somebody is wondering, if you run 6 months, how are you able to do quarterly and do 4 intakes a year? The same way the university runs a 4-year course, but they don't do admission once every 4 years. So we do 4 intakes. So there are overlapping classes. While some class is in the advanced stage, another class is beginning. And we have run, as I mentioned earlier on, 32 different cohorts. We are currently preparing for our 33rd cohort, which is taking off on the 3rd of December. December 3 is the start date for our 33rd cohort. And so registration and enrollment is ongoing now. We have just about 3 weeks to take off. And normally our December admission, you take lectures for just first 3 weekends, and then we break for we take Xmas recess, and then we reconvene second week of January to continue studies. So registration and enrollment is ongoing now, and our listeners can contact us on 0244 822 855, and that number again is 0244 822 855. Once you WhatsApp your name to that number, every single detail, including how to register, will be there. I think our audience may want to know what the fee is like. So there are 6 modules that make the professional charter certification course. 6 different modules. Module number 1 is on strategic HR management, and that comes with 8 thematic areas. Module number 2 is workforce planning and employment. That comes with 3 thematic areas. Module number 3 is learning and development. That comes with 7 thematic areas. Module number 4 is compensation and benefit. It comes with 6 thematic areas. And finally is module number 5, that is labor relations and employment, where we do all the issues of unionization, employee discipline, policy drafting, and all of that. There's a special module number 6, which requires that you gain mastery or have a deep understanding on the labor regulation of Ghana. And so you go through the Labor Act 651 2003, the supporting legislation, and other auxiliary acts in the areas of workmen's compensation law, how to even go about the workmen's compensation. And then you also have Factories, Offices, and Shops Act. I'm sure whilst I mentioned the module, somebody say, but I did this in school. Please, if what you did in school is academic, this is professional charter. The module might sound same in your ear, but the content and the approach to teaching it are not the same. If you have the likes of Mr. Samuel Boafo with an MBA in HR, Director of HR for Calban, MBA in HR, 16 years experience as an HR director, still sit down to go through the professional charter, you should appreciate that it's not an academic work. The HR director, let me say the immediate past HR director of EcoBank, Daphne Opon, with all her pedigree in HR, an MBA, several years of HR experience, have to go through this tuition in order to write the professional certification exam. So don't say, I have an MBA and I studied this. No, I double as a chartered accountant. With all my studies, my academic studies in accounting, I would not have been called a chartered accountant or a certified accountant if I had not gone through a rigorous professional training in accounting. So these are the modules. The fee is 1,300 Ghana cedis per module. and you pay that 6. But we allow you to stagger the payment. You can spread it over a 6-month period, which technically means that you have to pay in monthly tranches. So you pay 1,300 Ghana cedis per month for 6 consecutive months, and that covers virtually everything, your books and all of that, to be ready to write the professional charter certification exam. Just say hi to us or send your name to WhatsApp number 0244 822 855, and everything you need to be able to go through this course will be on your phone by way of WhatsApp.
Dr. Basse. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think this will be my last question, and then we'll take some of the questions let's a wrap. Now, listening from your discourse, it seems as though HR is only at the senior level because you are speaking about the policies and more of managerial issues. What about those who are at the entry level or mid level of their
Yes,
career?
indeed.
Is them?
Thank you for that question. As we wrap up this conversation, we also have room for entry level persons who want to certify. You do not have any degree in HR, neither have you practiced HR before, but you are interested in becoming a human resource professional. We have the Associate Professional in Human Resources. That is an entry certification. Associate Professional in Human Resources. You go through, and when you certify, it positions you to be an HR assistant or a junior HR manager, um, um, to be positioned to maybe support strategic issues that is spearheaded by senior officers in HR. So it's an entry level qualification that many people have used as a route, and today they are called senior professional HRs. Now, when you go through the entry level certification, otherwise known as the APHR, it's a full-fledged qualification on its own, though you are not a senior yet. It's like going to the university. There are different levels of lecturers. We have assistant lecturers, there are lecturers, and there are senior lecturers. Technically, they all teach, but they do their work at different levels. Now, one may ask, if I finish the associate professional certification, can I use that to earn the senior professional? And the answer is yes. Once you finish that, you only need to come back for supplemental tuition. I think what is popularly known as top up. So it's like somebody going to read an HND, and then you want a degree, you only come for some top up or supplemental tuition, and then you are able to earn your degree. So yes, we have several persons at the entry level of HR who have the opportunity to go through associate professional certification. Many of them are out there working. Some have already come back to go through the supplemental tuition in order to earn the senior certification. We are currently in a world of possibilities. The days where when you use one route, it doesn't work, you are locked up. In every sphere, every endeavor today, the only reason you don't become successful is when you are not interested. Otherwise, the route to the top is a lot. When I see persons who are still average or below average, I tell them, well, you are not interested in being successful, because if you are, you look for a way out. As an academic, I know the transformation even the academic programs have gone through. I mean, there were days if you had a master's that was an MBA or an MA, you couldn't even read a PhD program. You had to get an MPhil. But all those barriers have been removed now. There were times when you failed an SSCE, that's the end of you. But over time, they introduced NOVDEC, what a receipt. Today, the discussion at the educational level, at the ministry, and for that matter, Ghana Education Service, is that BC students who fail their exam, that should not be their end. They should be able to resit BC. It used not to be the case. It's the same thing with professional qualification. And we have had people with degrees in French, in biology, in political science. As for sociology and psychology, several of them had come through this professional course, and they are out there practicing as chartered HRs. We've had medical doctors, we've had military officers, finance people who, for whatever their motivation is, I cannot tell, who have gone through this professional course and are out there today as HR professionals. So the routes to becoming an HR is a lot. And if you don't qualify for a particular certification, you can qualify for another certification that will be a different route, but still leads you to the same destination as every other person is seeking to become.
Sure, certainly. Thank you, Dr. Bassi. Indeed, we live in a world of possibilities. Okay. It's been a very interesting time having this discussion with you, Dr. Bassi. I mean, you have thrown more light on evolution of HR and how complex HR has become, and even in its complexity, how the drivers of HR practitioners can muzzle up in order to manage this complex or this the strategic HR roles. We have a few questions here. I'll just want to take them quickly, and then we'll draw the curtains on today's engagement. So Shiro asks, does all HR partners are business partners automatically?
Indeed, every department in the organization is a partner in the organization. But you see, the title business partner is a designation in the organization. It's the ideology of attaching HR professionals to operating department or divisions in the organization is what we've technically come to know as HR business partner. However, every manager is a partner because we are all working at getting the organization to achieve set objectives. Now, when you develop a strategic plan, for instance, you need to cascade it down to departmental or functional strategies and action plans to help ensure that organization achieve its strategic plan. So you can look at from a broader perspective. HR is a business partner and every other department, but technically when we say a business partner, the idea is that an HR have been attached to a product line, a division, a department, or an operating unit within the organization to lend HR support to ensure that the organization can deliver on its product promises to customers. So we can look at it from a generic viewpoint and from a specific viewpoint.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Bassi. Now, the gentleman asking that he has an SPHR, but he now wants to do the GPHR. And what are the processes involved?
Yes, indeed. I know and remember Victor very well. I'm now seeing his photo. Victor J has once been a candidate and have successfully written and passed the exam as a senior professional. Victor, you may want to speak to me back door. I can walk you through the processes, but you don't probably need a GPHR except for special purposes. The senior professional in human resources had actually been pegged by HRCI as slightly above the GPHR. The GPHR is for a purpose. It's like one going to school, you've earned your first degree, you've earned your master's. As a corporate guy, you are good to go. The only reason you go for a PhD are two. You either want to teach, as in go to the lecture hall as a university lecturer, or you want to go into research. Except for this, PhD is useless to the business world. We don't need it for you to be successful as a business executive. So if I understand you, that is why I say that you may need to call me back door. And Victor probably knows my personal line quite well. You can call me and let's have a conversation. I have advised a lot of business executives who approach me. I want to read a PhD. I ask you what for? And thankfully today, educational facilities have introduced a corporate, or let me call it industrial doctorate, called a DBA, Doctor of Business administration. PhD is a research degree. And if you do not want to go into research or into lecturing, PhD is useless to industry. All right. So that is how GPHR is. It's not just for the regular HR practitioner. It is there for special purposes because it seeks to study, different cultures and how they approach business. Now, if you understand international business a bit, you would appreciate how the Arabics do business, so much different from how the Americans do business, how the British, who are more conservative, their approach to business, how the Asians do business. Right here in Africa, if you sit in my lecture for me to take you through the Ghanaian businessman and the Nigerian businessman, for 4 hours, I'll give you cogent cultural differences in how the average businessman and the Ghanaian businessman approaches businesses. How does that culture, interface or affect productivity? I can analyze an indigenous Ghanaian bank and a Nigerian Ghanaian bank, both of them probably operating within the same geographical region, and tell you their cultures and how they affect. When you go to a typical Ghanaian bank, they have what we call risk independence. But when you go to a Nigerian bank, they distribute the risk, and that has an effect. So GPHR is supposed to be coordinating and studying how HR supports and approaches some of these differences in cultures and all of that. So if you are not as a certain pedestal to serve as an advisor to an organization that explores different cultures and what have you, GPHR becomes a little not important and a waste of your time. But depending on your career objective, we can have a conversation. But I can tell you that the SPHR is rated by HRCI, the global body, as a better business or HR executive than a GPHR, which is merely to help you coordinate different, cultural environments and their understanding or management styles and stuff like that.
Great. Thank you very much for that XPHR and SPHRI. Now, Ishmael Poku is saying, Dr. Bassett, please, can you share your LinkedIn name with us? Okay, I put out that in the chat section. So please, Ishmael, you can look in the chat section, LinkedIn profile name. Right. This is coming from Stanley. He said that I think I saw 1,400 the back given. Okay, let me take this one too before Dr. Bassett comes in. I really want to talk to you for mentorship guidance. Thank you. That's from Ishmael. Okay, Dr. Bassett.
All right. So 1,300 Ghana cedis is the regular professional charter. The senior charter is 1,004 per module. So you didn't get a wrong information. Like I mentioned, there's an assistant lecturer, there's a lecturer, there's a senior lecturer. So we have the senior professional certification, 1,400 Ghana cedis per module. The regular professional charter, 1,300 cedis per module. The entry level one that I mentioned, associate charter, is 1,002. So there's 100 Ghana cedi differential as far as the modular fees are concerned. So the 1,004 you got is because you probably qualified to read senior professional charter. That is how come. But the masses that may not be qualified for the senior charter, you must have a certain pedigree in HR. You cannot be green to HR to sit in the senior class. You run out of the class. You understand a lot of the concept we teach. So if you don't have a master's degree plus 3-year work experience to qualify you for the senior class, master's degree plus 3-year work experience. Otherwise, a first degree plus 5-year HR manager. You have to be an HR manager for 5 years plus your first degree to qualify to go directly to the senior class. And the approach in the senior class is that we already have the assumptions that you have all the basics in HR. So we take you straight into strategy issues. But if you are at entry level, you come for APHR. If you are the mid-level, you come for the professional in human resources. Just send hi to the 0244 822 855. That number again is 0244 822 855. Once you send us hi or your name, every information, a certification entry requirement, the next certification entry requirement, fee, everything will be on your phone. What is the process to registering? Once you send us your name, everything will be on your phone.
All right, sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Bassi. And thank you all for joining professional HR certifications. I'm sure that we've all had our answers when it comes to how we can, add value to our practice as HR, understanding of how complex the world of business has become and the strategic function that the vehicle of human resource management is. And this to invite you all, if you are an HR practitioner and you want to increase your value, you should be talking to certifications. The number to call is in the chat box. I'll mention that again, 0244 822 855. Thank you very much for spending your time with us or investing your time with us this evening. It's been about 1 hour's engagement with you. I just want to encourage you to follow us on our various social media. So many resource materials there to boost your practice as an HR practitioner. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and of course here on LinkedIn. Right. I can see Elaine say thank you and see you soon, surely. So thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you soon. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's bye for now.
Professionals, because they tend to be more committed to higher standards and ethics and maintain an intercultural competency. Whether you are looking to build a career or to upgrade your HR professional career, you need to get trained and certified at the HR Certification Center today. Our experience in training and certifying HR professionals is on parallel. We are trusted to offer a comprehensive portfolio of advanced professional credentials for the HR professionals worldwide. And to more than 500,000 HR professionals worldwide in 125 plus countries proudly maintain our credentials as a mark of higher professional distinction. HR Certification Center. Call or send a WhatsApp message to +233 244 822 855.